saw the 10th window for the first time just after midnight. Rain hammered the cabin roof like a stampede. Lightning flickered through the tree line, and in the momentary flash I caught it. A narrow, glowing window on the far wall of the bedroom, shining out into the woods. The problem was simple. That wall had no window. Not from the outside. Not when we arrived. Not when we checked. But now, there it was. Warm, yellow, alive. And something inside me whispered, "We counted wrong. Something is very, very wrong." 9 hours earlier, the storm hadn't even broken yet. We were halfway through a 3-day hike along the old Ridge Trail, the kind that winds through northern pines so thick the sunlight feels like it's filtering down through ocean water. When the first rumble of thunder rolled over the bramble, Emily checked her map and frowned. "There's a shelter on the old survey grid," she said. "Used to be a ranger cabin. Might still be standing." We found it an hour later, perched on a rocky outcrop overlooking the forest, a squat, weather-beaten structure with a sagging porch and wood darkened by age and storms. But it was shelter, and with the sky turning bruise purple, we didn't argue. Inside, the cabin smelled like damp cedar and dust. One room, a narrow hallway, a small bedroom in the back. Old stove, table, a few forgotten tools, nothing special. While Emily set down her pack, I did a quick sweep to make sure we weren't bunking with raccoons or drifters. That's when I noticed it. "Em," I called out, "how many windows do you see?" She gave me the look of someone humoring a crazy person, but countered anyway. 1 in the kitchen, 2 in the hall, 2 in the front room, 1 in the side wall, and 3 in the bedroom. So, 9? Why? "No reason," I lied. "Just making sure nothing's busted." But something was off. The interior layout felt skewed, long angles, a weird draft in places there shouldn't be. The hallway seemed longer when I walked back through it, and the bedroom's dimensions didn't quite match the outer footprint of the cabin. It felt like a badly folded map, correct from one angle, warped from another. Still, the storm hit fast and hit hard. By nightfall, the cabin groaned under the weight of wind and rain. Lightning arced behind the pines like camera flashes. Emily slept with her hat pulled low. She could sleep through anything. Me? Not so much. The sounds kept me awake. The roof popping with cold, trees creaking, something tapping against a wall like a single knuckle knocking. And then, the faintest glow. I sat up, heart thudding, and blinked at the bedroom wall. The far wall, the one facing the forest. A window, tall, narrow, with frost edging the corners, except the frost was on the inside. And through the glass I saw trees swaying gently, though no wind was moving them. A soft amber light illuminated their trunks from somewhere deep in the forest. "Em," I whispered, "wake up." She didn't stir. I swung my legs off the bed and crept to the wall. I pressed my hand to the frame. It was warm, warm, like someone was on the other side. Warm, like a lamp had been burning behind it for hours. But from outside. Lightning flashed again, spilling white light across the forest. That exterior wall was bare planks. No window, no glow, no light. Just rain-slicked wood. Inside, 10 windows. Outside, 9. Something else was in the cabin with us, and it had just shown itself. The 10th window didn't disappear by morning. If anything, it felt more present, like it had settled in, grown comfortable during the night. Emily stood in front of it with her arms folded, her brow furrowed. The storm had passed, leaving the forest dripping and silent, mist curling off the pines like smoke. The other windows looked out onto that pale morning light, but not the extra one. The view through the 10th window was still night, still dark, still lit by a faint amber glow that pulsed softly, like a fire dying somewhere deep between the trees. "This is impossible," Emily whispered. She leaned closer. Her reflection didn't show in the glass. Mine didn't either. Instead, the surface had a strange depth to it, like matte black water with light behind it, swallowing anything that came near. "Maybe it's some kind of trick panel? One-way glass?" she guessed. "Show me one-way glass that shows a different time of day," I muttered. She didn't have a comeback for that. We tested it. I pressed my fingertips to the window. The surface was cold now, icy, but when Emily touched the frame, she jerked her hand back. "It's hot," she hissed. I tried the frame, cold. She tried the glass, hot. We stared at each other in unsettling silence. "What if it's not a window?" I said. "Then what is it?" Before I could answer, something tapped on the cabin wall. Gentle, slow, deliberate. We froze. Another tap. This one closer to the bedroom door. I stepped out into the hallway, and instantly every hair on my arms rose. The sound was coming from the normal windows, the ones that actually existed from the outside. Tap, tap, pause, tap. Something was testing them. Emily appeared at my shoulder. "Maybe it's just branches. Branches don't move against the wind." "There's no wind," she whispered. "Exactly." We circled the main room, checking one window at a time. But every time we got close, the tapping shifted to another pane, like something circling us, like something counting. When the tapping stopped, the silence was worse. We retreated back to the bedroom, closing the door behind us. The 10th window waited, watching us with its unchanging glow. Emily sat on the edge of the bed, rubbing her temples. "We should leave." The words hung in the air like a challenge. "Storm's gone," she added. "We pack up, hike fast. We'll reach the car by nightfall." I nodded, but something made me turn back to the 10th window. The dark behind it seemed deeper now, thicker. I leaned closer, just enough to see if... There. Movement. A figure. No, a shadow, drifting behind the glass. Too tall to be human. Shoulders sloping forward, head tilted like it was listening. I stumbled back, heart pounding. There's something behind it. Emily didn't ask what. I think she heard my voice shift into something fragile. She stood beside me, but when she looked in, the figure was gone. "Maybe you saw your reflection," she whispered, though she already knew the truth. Neither of us had reflections in that thing. "It was inside the glass," I said, "not outside. Inside." We turned away from the window, suddenly desperate to be anywhere but this room. As we left, I felt a faint tremor in the floorboards, as though something had stepped closer on the other side of that false pane. We started packing immediately, but before we could finish, Emily stopped in the hallway and pointed to the far wall. Did that crack exist before?" A long hairline fracture had appeared near the baseboard, running up the wall toward the ceiling. The drywall pushed outward slightly, like something behind it was pressing. The cabin groaned, softly, almost like it was breathing. I grabbed my pack. "We're leaving. Now." But as we reached the door, a gust slammed it shut from the outside. The latch clicked, then clicked again, and again. like fingers playing with a lock. We backed away slowly. Behind us, in the bedroom, the 10th window began to glow brighter, warm and inviting, like a lantern guiding someone home. But the forest outside remained still, and the glow didn't spill into the hallway. It stayed inside the window, contained, pulsing, waiting. Whatever was behind that glass had noticed us, and now I think it wanted more than our attention. We didn't sleep, not after the tapping, not after the door latch clicked on its own like someone was fiddling with it from the outside, or worse, from inside the walls. We sat in the main room with our packs on, ready to bolt the second daylight strengthened. But by the time a gray, diluted sunrise filtered through the trees, the forest was swallowed in a thick ground fog. The ridge trail vanished into white. "Visibility's garbage," Emily muttered. "If we leave now, we'll get turned around." I hated it, but she was right. We decided to wait an hour for the fog to thin. That hour changed the cabin. I don't mean metaphorically. The cabin shifted. It started small, barely noticeable. The chair was angled differently than when we'd sat down. My pack had slid an inch across the floor even though the boards were level. But the real change hit when I stepped into the hallway to grab my water bottle. I stopped cold. The hallway had doubled in length. It should have been 10 steps from the main room to the bedroom. I'd counted it twice the night before. But now it stretched far deeper into the cabin, shadows swallowing its end. The light from the main room only reached halfway before dissolving. "Em," I whispered, "come here." She joined me, rubbing her eyes. "What is?" She didn't finish. Shock stole the rest. "This wasn't like this," she breathed. We took slow, synchronized steps down the hallway like people approaching a sleeping animal. The air grew colder the deeper we went, freezing cold, our breath turning to vapor. Condensation dripped down the walls, but not like normal moisture. The droplets were warm, steaming slightly before cooling on our fingers. When we reached the bedroom door, things got worse. The 10th window had changed. It was taller now, at least a foot. The glow behind it stronger, casting amber ripples that moved across the floor like flickering firelight. But the most disturbing part wasn't the size. It was the angle. The window frame had twisted, as if it were turning to face us. The top corner leaned inward slightly like it was trying to look around the room. Emily took a shaky breath. This is wrong. The wall is wrong." She was right. The wall itself had bulged outward, stretched around the window as though something behind it needed more space. I swallowed and stepped forward. "We're checking the outside again." We circled the cabin through the fog, staying close to the walls. The forest felt muffled, like snow was falling, though nothing touched the ground. When we reached the outer wall of the bedroom, I stopped dead. "Still 9 windows," Emily whispered. The 10th window, the growing, glowing one, simply didn't exist from the outside. The wall was seamless, ancient wood swollen with moisture from the storm. No cracks, no seams, no sign anything had ever penetrated it. I touched the boards. They hummed. A faint vibration traveled through the wood, subtle but rhythmic, like the slow, steady thud of a heartbeat. "We're leaving," Emily said. "Fog or not." I nodded. "Grab everything. We're not coming back." We re-entered the cabin quickly, but once inside, the temperature dropped instantly. Our breaths poured out in long, pale trails. The floor creaked with every step as if flexing beneath our weight. When we reached the bedroom to grab Emily's jacket, we both froze. The cracks in the wall near the 10th window had expanded dramatically, jagged and splitting in multiple directions, like the drywall was under immense pressure from behind. The glow behind the window flickered. Emily whispered, Is it bigger? The window itself seemed to pulse, expanding subtly with every glow. The surface of the glass, if it was glass, looked softer now, thinner, almost pliable. I swallowed hard. Help me break it. We grabbed the hammer we'd used to test the stove earlier. I swung first, expecting splintered wood, shattered glass, something. The hammer struck the window with a sound that made my skin crawl. A hollow, echoing thud, like hitting the inside of a cavern. The pane didn't crack. It didn't even shudder. I tried again. Same sound. Same lack of effect. Emily tried. No difference. Except the glow behind the window brightened, and something shifted behind it. Not a shadow this time, not a flicker of light. A shape. Lean, tall, standing just out of view as if deciding whether to come forward. I backed away slowly. Put the hammer down. Emily's voice trembled. What's behind it? The cabin answered for us. From deep inside the wall came a soft, deliberate tap. Then another. Closer. Closer. Then tap. 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 Right behind the glass, as if someone was knocking, or worse, counting. The tapping didn't stop. It continued in a steady, unsettling rhythm. 3 taps, a pause, 3 more, like someone signaling or rehearsing. Emily clutched my arm. We're not waiting anymore. Fog or not, we're leaving now. Agreed. But as we turned toward the hallway, a warm glow spilled across the floor behind us. The 10th window was lighting up. Not the soft flicker we'd seen before. This was brighter, controlled, deliberate. Light poured from the frame stretching along the warped wall, illuminating each widened crack like veins under skin. The glow had a pulsing quality, like breath, like something inhaling and exhaling behind the glass. We froze. Then the glow dimmed, and a silhouette stepped into it. At first it was only an outline, long limbs, a bowed head, shoulders too narrow. But then it shifted, leaning close to the glass, and the light caught its features, or rather, its lack of features. A smooth, pale surface where a face should be, long jointed limbs folded wrong, bending inward like an insect unfurling. It pressed one hand, if you could call it that, against the inside of the window. 5 elongated digits spread across the glass, stretching like wet clay. My stomach lurched as the glass bulged outward under the pressure. Emily stumbled back. It's pushing through, it's trying to get out. The silhouette tilted its head as though listening. Then, with agonizing slowness, the hand sank deeper into the glass. The surface warped around its fingers like thick gel. The cabin groaned under our feet. Boards shifted, nails popped. The whole structure felt alive, responding to the thing behind the wall. We need to get out, I said. The door, now. We sprinted for the front door. I twisted the knob. It didn't move. Emily shoved me aside and tried. Nothing. The wood around the frame swelled like it was breathing, the hinges sinking deeper into the wall as if the cabin itself refused to let us leave. Behind us, a soft crack echoed through the bedroom, not from the window, from the wall around it. The cracks spider-webbed upward, splitting open enough to reveal darkness. Not the wall cavity, not wood, nothing. A hollow, depthless void. Something scraped along the other side, slow, methodical, searching for purchase. We backed away, inch by inch, as the glow behind the window pulsed brighter. It illuminated the creature's hand pushing through the softening pane. Glass bowed outward, thin as wet paper now, stretching to form the outline of fingers, a palm, a wrist. Emily grabbed my sleeve with a trembling hand. It's coming through. The bedroom light fixture flickered violently, buzzing like an angry swarm. One by one, the real windows in the cabin began to blacken, not from outside but from within. Their glass darkened, swallowing all daylight, until the interior of the cabin felt sealed off from the world. We were trapped in a box that no longer belonged to this place. A low, resonant hum vibrated through the floorboards, rattling the tools on the table. The smell of damp earth filled the cabin, rich, wet, suffocating. Behind us, the glass finally tore. Not shattered, not cracked. Tore, like skin splitting under pressure. A thin, wet line formed across the 10th window. Then another, and another. The pane peeled open, curling outward as something inside pushed its way through with obscene patience. A pale arm emerged first, smooth, human-like in shape but impossibly long, joints bending too soft, too fluid. It planted the limb on the windowsill, if the warped frame could still be called that, and began hauling itself forward. Emily gasped, "It's crawling out." The creature's head appeared next, sliding through the gap with the boneless grace of a snake. The face was smooth, unfinished, with shallow depressions where eyes should be, vacant and hungry. I grabbed Emily's hand. "Move, now!" We backed down the hallway, but the cabin stretched again. The floor rippled under our feet. Walls shifted inward, funneling us toward the corner of the main room like prey being herded. Behind us, the creature's limbs slid across the floor with a slick, dragging sound, slow but relentless. The 10th window pulsed once more. Then the light inside went out. We were in the dark with it. Darkness collapsed over the cabin like a blanket smothering light. No windows, no outside, no sense of direction. Only the wet, dragging sound of the creature pulling itself free from the torn glass behind us. Emily gripped my wrist so tightly her nails dug into my skin. "Don't stop. Don't look back." We moved by memory, hands tracing along walls that felt wrong now, swelling and bending under our palms like damp lungs. The air tasted stale, metallic. Every breath felt borrowed. Behind us, something scraped across the wooden floorboards. Long limbs, soft joints. The thing learning how to move. Then came the sound that nearly paralyzed me. Click. A soft, delicate latch-like click. Then another. Click. Click. It was mimicking the door latch from earlier. It had been listening. The hallway stretched again, distorting under our feet, each step sinking slightly like the boards were softening. The cabin wasn't just keeping us in. It was redirecting us, containing us. Emily stumbled into me. "It's turning us back toward the bedroom." No, no, no. There has to be another way. But the cabin groaned, and walls bulged inward, herding us like cattle toward the bedroom. The place where the 10th window now yawned open like a gaping wound. I slammed my shoulder against the side door. Useless. I tried the back window. The glass turned black and solid at my touch. Behind us, click, click, click. The creature was crawling faster now. We burst into the main room. The 10th window's glow was gone, but the amber hue leaked faintly from the cracks in the wall like light from a furnace deep inside. The creature emerged from the hallway, its limbs unfolding one by one, each movement slow but confident. It wasn't rushing. It knew the cabin wouldn't let us escape. Emily choked back a sob. "We're dead. We're dead. We're dead." Not yet. My eyes locked onto one thing left. The real window above the old stove. The only one that hadn't blackened completely. A faint outline of trees was still visible behind it. Hope. Thin, cracking hope. But hope. I grabbed the iron poker beside the stove and swung. The glass didn't budge. I swung again, a small starburst fracture. Behind us, the creature clicked its joints and leaned forward, its faceless head tilting like it was studying us. Emily screamed, "Hit it again!" I did. The window cracked wider. The creature took a long, deliberate step toward us. I swung again, and the window shattered outward, spilling cold forest air across my face like a baptism. "Go!" I shoved Emily through first. She tumbled into the bushes outside. I threw my pack out next. Then I climbed up onto the stove, hoisting myself through the jagged opening. As my legs cleared the frame, something brushed my boot. A cold, smooth hand. It didn't grab. It tested, like it was learning the shape of me. I kicked hard, dislodging it, and rolled into the dirt beside Emily. "Run!" We sprinted into the trees, fog swallowing us whole. Behind us, the cabin groaned, angry, frustrated, boards rattling like something thrashing inside. After 50 yards, Emily gasped, "Don't look back!" But I did. I wish I hadn't. Through the fog, the cabin stood crooked on its foundation, the wooden walls bowing outward as if something inside pressed its limbs against them. And on the bedroom wall, 10 windows now appeared from the outside. 10, all glowing faint gold, all facing the forest, all watching. One window, the 10th one, held a shape in its glow, a tall silhouette leaning close, head tilted in that unnatural way. I tore my gaze away and pulled Emily deeper into the trees. We didn't stop until we reached the ridge trail again. Didn't stop until miles separated us from that clearing. Didn't stop until we saw the car, wet with rain but safe. But that night, lying awake in my apartment, something caught my eye. Across the room in the dark, a faint warmth glowed on the wall. A tall, narrow outline. A rectangle slowly brightening. At first I thought it was a reflection, a trick of the street light. But then, tap, tap, tap. Not from the window, from the wall, from inside the wall. The 10 windows of the cabin weren't just part of the structure. They were part of it. And it wanted more places to look in, more ways in, more windows. If you ever find yourself deep in the woods and stumble onto an old shelter that shouldn't be on any map, count the windows. Count them twice. Because if the number changes, if you see a glow where there shouldn't be one, if you feel something pressing against the walls from the inside, run. Don't question it. Don't explore it. Don't look back. Some places in the forest aren't abandoned. They're waiting. They're watching. And sometimes they add a new window just for you. If you enjoyed tonight's story, do me a huge favor. Drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to Campfire Horror Stories. It helps the channel more than you know, and it lets me keep bringing you new tales every week. Sleep well, and keep your eyes off the windows tonight.